Welcome to Paro English. Sarah wakes up early in the morning.
Sarah wakes up early in the morning.
She opens her eyes and stretches her arms.
She opens her eyes and stretches her arms.
She hears the sound of birds outside.
She hears the sound of birds outside.
Sarah turns off her alarm clock.
Sarah turns off her alarm clock.
She gets out of bed slowly.
She gets out of bed slowly.
She walks to the bathroom.
She walks to the bathroom.
Sarah brushes her teeth.
Sarah brushes her teeth.
She uses minty toothpaste.
She uses minty toothpaste.
She rinses her mouth with water.
She rinses her mouth with water.
Sarah washes her face with cold water.
Sarah washes her face with cold water.
She feels fresh and awake.
She feels fresh and awake.
Sarah looks in the mirror.
Sarah looks in the mirror.
She combs her hair neatly.
She combs her hair neatly.
Her hair is long and brown.
Her hair is long and brown.
She smiles at her reflection.
She smiles at her reflection.
Sarah leaves the bathroom.
Sarah leaves the bathroom.
She goes to her kitchen.
She goes to her kitchen.
She opens the fridge.
She opens the fridge.
She takes out a carton of eggs.
She takes out a carton of eggs.
Sarah cracks 2 eggs into a bowl.
Sarah cracks 2 eggs into a bowl.
She whisks the eggs with a fork.
She whisks the eggs with a fork.
She heats a pan on the stove.
She heats a pan on the stove.
Sarah pours the eggs into the pan.
Sarah pours the eggs into the pan.
She cooks them until they are fluffy.
She cooks them until they are fluffy.
She puts the eggs on a plate.
She puts the eggs on a plate.
Sarah makes a cup of coffee.
Sarah makes a cup of coffee.
She loves the smell of fresh coffee.
She loves the smell of fresh coffee.
She sits at her kitchen table.
She sits at her kitchen table.
Sarah eats her breakfast slowly.
Sarah eats her breakfast slowly.
She sips her coffee carefully.
She sips her coffee carefully.
The coffee is hot and strong.
The coffee is hot and strong.
Sarah finishes her breakfast.
Sarah finishes her breakfast.
She cleans her dishes in the sink.
She cleans her dishes in the sink.
She dries the dishes with a towel.
She dries the dishes with a towel.
Sarah puts the dishes away.
Sarah puts the dishes away.
She goes back to her bedroom.
She goes back to her bedroom.
Sarah opens her closet.
Sarah opens her closet.
She chooses a blue dress to wear.
She chooses a blue dress to wear.
She puts on the dress.
She puts on the dress.
She looks in the mirror again.
She looks in the mirror again.
She adjusts the dress slightly.
She adjusts the dress slightly.
Sarah picks out a pair of shoes.
Sarah picks out a pair of shoes.
She puts on her shoes.
She puts on her shoes.
She grabs her purse from the chair.
She grabs her purse from the chair.
Sarah checks the time.
Sarah checks the time.
It is almost 8 a.m.
It is almost 8 a.m.
She quickly walks to the door.
She quickly walks to the door.
She opens the front door.
She opens the front door.
Sarah steps outside.
Sarah steps outside.
The air is cool and fresh.
The air is cool and fresh.
She locks her door with a key.
She locks her door with a key.
Sarah walks to the bus stop.
Sarah walks to the bus stop.
She waits for the bus patiently.
She waits for the bus patiently.
The bus arrives at 8:10 a.m.
The bus arrives at 8:10 a.m.
Sarah gets on the bus.
Sarah gets on the bus.
She finds a seat near the window.
She finds a seat near the window.
She sits down and looks outside.
She sits down and looks outside.
The city is busy in the morning.
The city is busy in the morning.
Sarah watches people walking by.
Sarah watches people walking by.
The bus moves through the streets.
The bus moves through the streets.
She listens to music on her phone.
She listens to music on her phone.
The bus stops at her office.
The bus stops at her office.
Sarah gets off the bus.
Sarah gets off the bus.
She waves to the bus driver.
She waves to the bus driver.
She walks to her office building.
She walks to her office building.
Sarah enters the building.
Sarah enters the building.
She takes the elevator to the 3rd floor.
She takes the elevator to the 3rd floor.
She arrives at her office desk.
She arrives at her office desk.
Sarah turns on her computer.
Sarah turns on her computer.
She checks her emails.
She checks her emails.
She reads each email carefully.
She reads each email carefully.
She replies to important messages.
She replies to important messages.
Sarah organizes her files.
Sarah organizes her files.
She prepares for a meeting at 10 a.m.
She prepares for a meeting at 10 a.m.
She prints some documents.
She prints some documents.
She makes copies of the reports.
She makes copies of the reports.
Sarah walks to the meeting room.
Sarah walks to the meeting room.
She greets her colleagues with a smile.
She greets her colleagues with a smile.
The meeting begins.
The meeting begins.
They discuss new projects.
They discuss new projects.
Sarah takes notes during the meeting.
Sarah takes notes during the meeting.
She shares her ideas confidently.
She shares her ideas confidently.
Her boss nods in agreement.
Her boss nods in agreement.
The meeting ends at 11 a.m.
The meeting ends at 11 a.m.
Sarah returns to her desk.
Sarah returns to her desk.
She works on her tasks quietly.
She works on her tasks quietly.
She types quickly on her keyboard.
She types quickly on her keyboard.
Her fingers move fast.
Her fingers move fast.
Sarah checks the time again.
Sarah checks the time again.
It is 12:30 p.m.
It is 12:30 p.m.
Time for lunch.
Time for lunch.
She grabs her lunch bag.
She grabs her lunch bag.
Sarah goes to the break room.
Sarah goes to the break room.
She sits with her coworkers.
She sits with her coworkers.
They talk and laugh together.
They talk and laugh together.
Sarah eats a salad with chicken.
Sarah eats a salad with chicken.
She drinks a bottle of water.
She drinks a bottle of water.
After lunch, Sarah returns to her desk.
After lunch, Sarah returns to her desk.
She works on her project reports.
She works on her project reports.
She analyzes data on her computer.
She analyzes data on her computer.
Sarah writes a summary of her findings.
Sarah writes a summary of her findings.
She takes a short break at 2 p.m.
She takes a short break at 2 p.m.
She stands up and stretches.
She stands up and stretches.
Sarah walks around the office.
Sarah walks around the office.
She feels more awake after the break.
She feels more awake after the break.
She returns to her desk.
She returns to her desk.
Sarah calls a client for a meeting.
Sarah calls a client for a meeting.
She discusses important details.
She discusses important details.
She writes down the client's feedback.
She writes down the client's feedback.
Sarah thanks the client for their time.
Sarah thanks the client for their time.
She ends the call politely.
She ends the call politely.
Sarah checks her to-do list.
Sarah checks her to-do list.
She crosses off completed tasks.
She crosses off completed tasks.
She feels happy about her progress.
She feels happy about her progress.
It is now 4 p.m.
It is now 4 p.m.
Sarah has a final task to finish.
Sarah has a final task to finish.
She concentrates on her work.
She concentrates on her work.
She finishes the task at 4:45 p.m.
She finishes the task at 4:45 p.m.
Sarah saves all her files.
Sarah saves all her files.
She shuts down her computer.
She shuts down her computer.
Sarah tidies up her desk.
Sarah tidies up her desk.
She puts her pens in a holder.
She puts her pens in a holder.
She organizes her papers neatly.
She organizes her papers neatly.
It is now 5 p.m.
It is now 5 p.m.
Sarah leaves her office.
Sarah leaves her office.
She takes the elevator down.
She takes the elevator down.
She walks out of the building.
She walks out of the building.
Sarah heads to the bus stop.
Sarah heads to the bus stop.
She waits for the bus again.
She waits for the bus again.
The bus arrives shortly.
The bus arrives shortly.
Sarah gets on the bus.
Sarah gets on the bus.
She finds a seat near the window.
She finds a seat near the window.
She watches the city passing by.
She watches the city passing by.
The bus reaches her stop.
The bus reaches her stop.
Sarah gets off the bus.
Sarah gets off the bus.
She walks back to her home.
She walks back to her home.
She unlocks her front door.
She unlocks her front door.
She steps inside and closes the door.
She steps inside and closes the door.
Sarah takes off her shoes.
Sarah takes off her shoes.
She feels relaxed at home.
She feels relaxed at home.
She goes to her living room.
She goes to her living room.
Sarah sits on the sofa.
Sarah sits on the sofa.
She turns on the TV.
She turns on the TV.
She watches her favorite show.
She watches her favorite show.
She laughs at the funny scenes.
She laughs at the funny scenes.
After an hour, Sarah gets up.
After an hour, Sarah gets up.
She goes to the kitchen.
She goes to the kitchen.
She prepares dinner.
She prepares dinner.
She cooks pasta with vegetables.
She cooks pasta with vegetables.
Sarah adds cheese on top.
Sarah adds cheese on top.
She sets the table for dinner.
She sets the table for dinner.
She sits down to eat.
She sits down to eat.
The pasta is delicious.
The pasta is delicious.
Sarah enjoys her meal.
Sarah enjoys her meal.
She drinks a glass of juice.
She drinks a glass of juice.
After dinner, Sarah cleans up.
After dinner, Sarah cleans up.
She washes the dishes.
She washes the dishes.
She wipes the kitchen counter.
She wipes the kitchen counter.
Sarah takes out the trash.
Sarah takes out the trash.
She goes back inside.
She goes back inside.
She sits on the sofa again.
She sits on the sofa again.
Sarah reads a book.
Sarah reads a book.
The book is interesting.
The book is interesting.
She reads for an hour.
She reads for an hour.
Sarah feels sleepy.
Sarah feels sleepy.
She closes the book.
She closes the book.
She puts it on the table.
She puts it on the table.
Sarah stands up.
Sarah stands up.
She goes to her bedroom.
She goes to her bedroom.
She changes into her pajamas.
She changes into her pajamas.
She brushes her teeth again.
She brushes her teeth again.
Sarah washes her face.
Sarah washes her face.
She feels clean and ready for bed.
She feels clean and ready for bed.
Sarah turns off the bedroom light.
Sarah turns off the bedroom light.
She gets into her bed.
She gets into her bed.
She pulls up the blanket.
She pulls up the blanket.
Sarah closes her eyes.
Sarah closes her eyes.
She thinks about her day.
She thinks about her day.
She feels grateful for the day.
She feels grateful for the day.
Sarah takes deep breaths.
Sarah takes deep breaths.
She relaxes her body.
She relaxes her body.
Her room is quiet.
Her room is quiet.
She hears the soft ticking of the clock.
She hears the soft ticking of the clock.
Sarah's breathing slows down.
Sarah's breathing slows down.
She feels calm and peaceful.
She feels calm and peaceful.
Her mind begins to drift.
Her mind begins to drift.
Sarah starts to fall asleep.
Sarah starts to fall asleep.
She dreams about a happy place.
She dreams about a happy place.
Her dreams are sweet and peaceful.
Her dreams are sweet and peaceful.
Sarah sleeps soundly through the night.
Sarah sleeps soundly through the night.
The moon shines outside her window.
The moon shines outside her window.
The stars twinkle in the sky.
The stars twinkle in the sky.
The night is calm and quiet.
The night is calm and quiet.
Sarah rests well.
Sarah rests well.
She feels safe and comfortable.
She feels safe and comfortable.
She sleeps deeply and peacefully.
She sleeps deeply and peacefully.
Her body relaxes completely.
Her body relaxes completely.
The night passes quietly.
The night passes quietly.
Morning comes again.
Morning comes again.
Sarah wakes up with a smile.
Sarah wakes up with a smile.
A new day begins for her.
A new day begins for her. Thank you for watching this video. Keep watching and keep learning. See you on next video.